The Great Train Robbery, a crime that shook a nation. In the early hours of August 8, 1963, a silent fog rolled over the quiet countryside of Buckinghamshire, England. But beneath that stillness, something extraordinary was unfolding, an audacious heist that would soon grip the world with shock, fascination, and disbelief. It was the day 15 men executed one of the most infamous crimes in British history, the Great Train Robbery. At the heart of the operation was a Royal Mail train traveling from Glasgow to London, loaded with cash, banknotes worth over £2.6 million, a staggering sum at the time, equivalent to more than £50 million today. The gang, led by Bruce Reynolds, was a motley crew of career criminals, ex-soldiers, and underworld figures, each chosen for a specific skill: planning, logistics, violence, or speed. But what they all shared was a brazen confidence and a hunger for one last big job. The plan was as intricate as it was daring. They had inside information from an anonymous informant known only as the Ulsterman, who tipped them off about the immense haul and the train's route. For months, the gang prepared with military precision. They studied railway timetables, conducted dry runs, and even bought a secluded farmhouse called Leatherslade Farm to use as a hideout after the job. In the dark before dawn, they struck. Near the small village of Bridego, the gang tampered with the railway signals, forcing the train to stop at a remote location known as Bridego Bridge. Wearing ski masks and armed with iron bars and cautious, they boarded the train and quickly overpowered the driver, Jack Mills. He was bludgeoned in the head, one of the robbery's few moments of violence which would haunt the gang in public perception. They uncoupled the high-value carriage, which held the cash, and drove it half a mile down the track to the designated spot. There, working with a practiced urgency, they formed a human chain and transferred 120 mailbags full of money into waiting vehicles. The entire operation took barely 30 minutes. Retreating to Leatherslade Farm, they lay low, listening to news reports that began to circulate within hours. At first, the nation was stunned. A train had been robbed? Of millions? Without the use of guns? It sounded like fiction, but it was all too real, and the police, under immense pressure, mobilized quickly. What followed was a cat-and-mouse chase that lasted years. The gang's downfall began with small mistakes. Fingerprints left on a Monopoly board, abandoned mailbags, and careless phone calls began to link individuals to the crime. One by one, arrests were made. In 1964, many of the gang members were sentenced to harsh prison terms, some up to 30 years. But the legend didn't stop there. Ronnie Biggs, one of the robbers, escaped from prison in 1965 and fled to Brazil, becoming a folk hero of sorts, even recording songs with the punk band the Sex Pistols in the 1970s. Bruce Reynolds, the mastermind, evaded capture for 5 years, traveling through Mexico and Canada before finally being caught in 1968. Others lived under false names, hiding in remote corners of the world, always glancing over their shoulders. The Great Train Robbery became more than a crime. It was a story of criminal genius, betrayal, escape, and obsession. It exposed the vulnerabilities of a seemingly infallible system and highlighted the tension between post-war authority and a new era of counterculture and rebellion. Newspapers sensationalized the robbers, movies were made, books published, and conspiracy theories swirled. Were there more accomplices? Was the Ulsterman ever identified? What happened to the missing money? To this day, much of the stolen money was never recovered. Some say it was spent lavishly, others believe it was hidden, lost, or laundered through secret channels. The Great Train Robbery wasn't just a heist, it was a symbol, a moment when the underworld outsmarted the system, if only temporarily. It remains etched in the collective memory not because of the amount stolen, but because of the sheer scale, planning, and drama of the crime. It reminded the world that even in the most orderly societies, chaos can be engineered, with enough nerve, planning, and ambition.
Please do well to like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't, as an encouragement for more of this kind of content.